Well, hello,
Melindas.
Melindas.
And welcome to the Quarantine Classics Saturday night. That's the new thing we're doing.
Yeah, and the format changes every week. We showed our homes last week. And actually, this spurred, I don't want to say a lot of people, but we've gotten at least 3 people who watched and were inspired to show us their homes. By the way, if this is your first time watching, there's so much to explain. But this is a spin-off of the Found Footage Festival's VCR party. I'm Nick. This is Joe over to...
I'm Joe.
To the left, and below him we have George. He's our VHS detective. And Steve, our director, over there to the right. And we're going to show them some stuff they've never seen. But in the meantime, let's take a look at... It's Jay Sherwood, but I think his real name's Jeff, and his wife or girlfriend showing off their home. I thought they did a nice job with this.
This was like from the Brenda Dixon video, Welcome to My Home. People would show off their homes. This is their version of it.
Well, hello, Melindas.
We're Jeff and Alicia.
Welcome to our home in the woods in Indiana. We have a lot of things here, like wild turkeys, tons of deer, tons of raccoons, lots of birds, but no donkeys.
Sorry, Steve.
On our themed shelves, you'll find
fruit. There's a Frisbee fucker on the wall.
I saw that. With reminders of Pluto and Saturn. Sorry, Joe. No living cats. Transportation. Nick, your elf is my Mr. Rogers. Owasso, Michigan. And here's Big Jeff with the Earth for Scale. In the 70s, Mattel made these very homoerotic dolls named Big Jim and Big Jeff. And my brother's name was Jim, so we each had one. Here's our trash shelf with this awesome cross-stitch made by Alicia. And our very nice thing, bunion surgery. We have some kitschy 50s and 60s
proud to be on the trash
by our
shelf.
Family.
Yeah.
Some stitcheries and paint by numbers.
Nice things.
Over to the game shelf.
Very nice.
Alicia made this very nice thing. This cross stitch for Python fans. Watch out llamas. For TF2 players, Alicia also made this Spytron 2000 for the Spy class. We do have Punderdome, but we also have a special edition Twin Peaks Guess Who. George, there are guitars, but I only partially qualify as a douchebag because of the mandolin. Thanks for visiting. That's all. That's it.
If we would have tried harder, we could have done better.
That's commitment. I mean, they got their clothes wet in the shower. And...
Did you see the photoshopping of Rumsey on their couch at the end?
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
So well done.
Oh, wait, I didn't even notice that.
Go back.
Oh, they put him on their couch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Wow.
well done.
That's good photoshopping.
It flew
Maybe
right
he's there.
past. Yeah.
Man.
Rumsey's quarantine with Jeff and Alicia there.
And there's a Frisbee fucker up in the corner of that. There's lots of little hidden Easter eggs in there.
Oh,
from the
man.
antlers.
And the Gary pins, the double Gary pins. I
She
don't
had,
remember.
she had a Bargain Bernie on, and
Yeah.
yeah.
But how did he get 2 Gary pins? We only usually just give people 1.
Yeah, we don't hand those out to just anybody. So.
And his name wasn't Gary either.
No.
I don't know. We should
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
like
we should call the police.
Yeah.
If only you knew a VHS detective.
Yes,
All right.
track it down, George.
I'm going to dial 911, but Joe, go ahead while I'm doing
Okay,
that.
so last week on my Welcome to My Home, Welcome to Joe's Home, I played a game called Turd Flush, where I took the cat scooper and I put all the cat turds into the toilet, and then I flushed it to see how many would go down and how many would rise to the top. I'd play this game with my niece and nephew. Every time I changed the cat litter, I changed it the other day. And I have part 2 of it. Would you guys like to see it?
Not really.
No.
You don't have a choice. I don't know why I
There's
asked.
no an option.
Absolutely not.
There's no choice whatsoever. Something eventful actually happened during this one, so it's worth sharing.
It's a game that's sweeping the nation.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a hit.
It's a game that's scooping the nation.
There we go.
All right, everybody, it's time for your favorite game, Turd Flush!
I had a graphics too. Now, the rules of Turd Flush are simple. You've played this game before. All you have to do is guess. After I put in all the turds into the toilet,
You shot
have to
it.
guess if all the turds will
It's very Red Robin.
go down the toilet, or if some will come back to the surface.
So we got a big load here for you today. And we're almost there. We're almost all the way full. Oh! I broke my scooper. Oh.
That's what I guessed.
How are we going to play turd flush? Okay, I guess I don't really want to touch that. All right, we'll just play with the turds that we have in there, I guess. Oh, it's kind of gross.
This is how Joe got toxoplasmosis.
Oh, man. I gotta get a new turd scooper.
Now it's
How the
gross.
hell am I gonna do that? All right. Wow, kind of a bummer on this game, but now I have cat pee on me. So here it is. Place your wagers, everybody.
Really threw the
And the
host
3,
for a loop here.
2, 1.
Oh,
Ooh, lots of turds.
no
There's
have
a
it.
big pee blockage that stuck it. So we got 3 floaters. Ah, I lost. And I lost a turd scooper, and I got cat pee in my hands. But other than that, huge success. Thanks for playing another game of Turd Flush!
Yeah, so that's
Well,
the latest.
It was eventful, at least. I mean, you had some real drama there. I didn't know if Turd Flush was going to continue.
I thought I rolled with the punches really well. I think that I just really was able to just push through.
Keep the ship afloat, and
Show must go on.
Among other things.
Yep.
yeah.
But my new turd scooper did arrive today, so I think that it's
Great.
yeah.
Did you do
Back
same
in
day?
business.
Did you do same day
I did the
delivery?
overnight, but it actually took me 3 days. So that was 3 days ago when that actually
Wow.
happened.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm about to scoop tonight too. So stay tuned next week.
Yeah. Those essential workers are there for a reason.
This new turd scooper though is slick as hell. I spent $12 on it. Stainless
Wow.
steel. I was like, I want one that's gonna last.
Look at it. I think there's Mookie in the back.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
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 Look behind you.
Oh, that's tiny.
Oh,
yeah,
it's tiny,
that's
yeah.
Twinkie. Hey, Twink. All right, cool. So, all right. So today we have a guest. We have Skip Elsheimer from AV Geeks. He's going to show us a bunch of 16 millimeter hygiene films. And he was on the show. He was our first guest ever about a year and a half ago. And he's down in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's doing a daily show where he shows old films. And so we wanted to have him on. But before we get to that, Nick and I actually made our own hygiene film in, what was it, 2003 or so?
Yeah, it was like one of the first films we could make because you could kind of deliberately dumb it down tech-wise. So we had just moved to Minneapolis and met a guy there who had a 8mm camera and was it 16? 8.
Super 8.
Super 8, yeah. And so we just kind of got a crew together and wrote a probably too long version of a.
It's 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
So well, I mean, if we watch this again, we're pre-taping this. If we watch it again and it's too long, Nick will trim it down. So we'll see.
Well, we thought if you're up on a Saturday night watching us, I mean, why not?
Why not?
Watch our fresh out of college film called A Young Man's Guide to Dating, which I haven't seen probably in 15.
I hadn't seen in 15 years or so, and so yeah, this will be the first time in a while. Okay, here's A Young Man's Guide to Dating. Have you guys seen this, George, Steve? You guys haven't seen it, have you?
No.
No. All right.
Dollop Hair Cream presents A Young Man's Guide to Dating. So you're in college.
There's me.
Sooner or later, every young man wants to find a girl to call his own. So come on, let's get to it. Why, look, it's Jerry. Jerry is a member of the Glee Club, an honor student, and a finance major who wants to be an accountant like Dad. But alas, Jerry has never been on a date.
Probably weigh
And
195
there's
pounds.
Darren. Darren avoids school-related activities altogether and rarely attends classes. He doesn't know the
I
proper
still have
way to
that
date.
shirt.
Let's follow our boys as they enter the world of dating.
see you
Jerry's been
guys
thinking
cast the
about
type.
Sharon ever since their first study session. She's studious, fun to talk to, and trustworthy. They have a lot in common. Darren's been thinking about Anne for all the wrong reasons. Young ladies like young men who are outgoing and popular. Look at Jerry. He's a whiz in class. He is student body president, and he's captain of the football team. Darren is popular too, for all the wrong reasons. Impress your girl by paying special attention to her. That's the idea, Jerry. Those books are much too heavy for Sharon. Offer to carry them for her. Darren tries to impress Anne by being a hotshot. Another way to show a girl you like her is to write her an affectionate letter or poem. Jerry writes a love letter to Sharon. It looks like Darren is busy writing a love letter to Anne and... Hey, now, that's school property. After you've got her
really
attention, it's time to ask her out on a date. Sure, it can make you nervous, but by being polite, confident, and prepared, it's a cinch. Jerry calls Sharon after school and cordially asks her whether she's busy Friday. Darren calls Anne at 3 a.m. and makes obscene noises. Let's see how Jerry's coming along. Sharon's not busy? Well, congratulations, Jerry. It looks like you've got a date. As for Darren, well, it looks like Anne's agreed to go on a date too, but only so Darren will stop calling her.
That's
Planning your
Nick
date
for,
carefully will ensure an enjoyable evening for both of you. Think of an activity that's creative, fun, and will suit both your interests. Or, failing that, plan dinner and a movie. Before planning any further, however, you need to consult the most important dating experts of all, your parents. Yes, your parents once dated too. Jerry gets good advice from his mother and father. Darren and his stepdad don't get along.
Forgot about that part.
Remember to always get permission before you go out on a date. Jerry asks his father whether he can borrow the family car Friday. Darren asks his parole officer whether he can go out Friday. It's time for the big date. Don't worry, everything will go fine as long as you remember the 3 P's of dating: preparation, politeness, and responsibility. It's almost 4 o'clock, and you've got to pick up your date at 6. Remember, first impressions are important, and you want to look your best. Start by bathing thoroughly. That's it, Jerry. Scrub and rinse all over. Yes, even behind your ears. Be sure to shave for smooth skin. Then apply underarm deodorant liberally. After you get dressed, brush your teeth and floss. And most importantly, always use Dollop hair cream to groom and style your hair. Yes, Dollop. It restores your hair's natural shine without the oily mess of other hair creams. Oh no, Darren's using the leading brand of hair cream. Yuck, look at that awful hairdo. Darren's grooming is a disgrace. Jerry, you look great, thanks to Dollop. Uh-oh, almost time for your date. Before picking up your date, remember the second P, politeness. Watch Jerry as he arrives promptly. And introduces himself to Sharon's family with confidence. Becoming close to the Sharon Hansen family is crucial for Jerry to establish trust. He carefully outlines the itinerary for the evening. Look at Jerry. He's a hit. Now let's see how Darren approaches it. Goodness, Darren, you should have left the dogs at home. Jerry talks to Sharon's kid brother about the big game on Saturday while Sharon finishes putting on her face. Darren tries selling Ann's kid brother marijuana. Well, now it's time for the date to begin. But what should you do on the date? Here's your chance to turn on the charm. Find a radio station that the two of you can agree on. Jerry asks Sharon if she enjoys bebop. Darren has trouble calming the dogs. Choosing a restaurant is another important step in impressing your date. This isn't high school anymore. It's college. The local malt shop will no longer do. Jerry rightly takes Sharon to a fancy French restaurant. That's no place for a lady, Darren. During dinner, keep the conversation interesting. Jerry listens to his date and offers related experiences. Darren can't think of anything to say.
Way too loud.
Wasn't that delicious?
Not good
Sharon
ADR.
is impressed with Jerry's taste in food. Since girls rarely carry money, Jerry pays for the meal. Darren argues with the bartender over his credit.
John Tucker.
Now we're at the movie. But what kind of movie is a good date movie? Experienced daters will tell you that scary picture shows make for fun moviegoing. Darren and Ann are off to the movies too. Darren. Before the picture begins, Jerry orders popcorn and soda pop for he and Sharon. Good. Darren's doing the same. Hey now, don't be so selfish. During the movie, Jerry comforts Sharon during the scary parts. Darren embarrasses Ann. You've got to say goodnight to your date. Keep in mind the third P of dating. Responsibility. Never, under any circumstance, kiss your date. That's for after you're married. For now, a firm handshake will suffice. Let's see how Darren handles it. Well, it looks like Darren won't be getting a second date. Okay, you've done it, Jerry. Welcome to the world of dating. In no time, she'll be wearing your letter jacket. And who knows, maybe one day she'll be your housewife. Take me and my wife Nancy, for example. Why, it wasn't long ago that we began our journey into the world of dating. I was strolling through the town square, showered naked in my bathtub. Yes, the world of dating is a rich and wonderful place. You too can achieve success in the world of dating. Just remember the 3 P's of dating and always use dollop hair cream. Never oily, always creamy for that natural shine. And that goes for you too, Darren. Perhaps your failure has taught you a lesson about proper respect and appropriate behavior in dating. Yes, Darren, you really blew it. But maybe next time you'll be more like young Jerry. Because in this day of...
There it is. Why does the narrator get the first credit?
Because he's the most experienced of anybody.
That was a great
That's
voiceover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
dude,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he was the star of the show. Actually.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like a military guy. He did like narration for military movies and stuff, and or like industrials. I don't know how we found him, but yeah.
What do you think? Did that hold up?
I liked it a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, I always love your pre-recorded stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it was overwritten by half. It was like, oh God, just let the scenes
9
play.
minutes long was way too long. It
Yeah.
just needed 4 minutes long. I think there's like 3 good jokes in the whole thing.
The thing I remember about shooting that was like everyone was so trusting. Like those vintage cars, we just went to a vintage car place, and I was like, "Hey, we're shooting this little short film. Would you lend these to us?" And I'm like, "We don't have any money." He goes, "Sure, yeah. Here's the keys."
Well,
We had
not
like
only that, but they're dangerous cars to drive because they
Yeah.
were rear wheel drive, which we all learned on front wheel drive. These are rear wheel drive in Minnesota. It handled so weirdly, and we were going on like highways taking these things, and he was just like, "Yeah, have at it. This sounds like a cool
I
project."
was like, "Do you want my license just to make sure I come back with it?" He's like, "Nah, just I trust you. Never met this guy in my life. I walked in cold."
Fucking Minnesota. It's
Yeah.
Minnesota is what it is.
We
Yeah.
got movie theater locations. We got fancy restaurant locations. Like
We got
everybody, was
every
just like, "Come on
location we
in."
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we did Gas and Fuel too? We took over a convenience store for 2 weekends.
Yeah.
The busiest time.
Well,
Minnesota.
the movies that those are all based on, and like I'm sure you might have seen some of them in like Mystery Science Theater or like Pee Wee Herman would do, narration over these old hygiene movies. Most of them are, have come from in one way or another. Skip Elsheimer, our next guest. And you've seen Skip before, but we're going to play some old favorites and some new stuff we've never seen with Skip right now. Here's Skip. It's Skip Elsheimer, everybody.
Skip's back. Yes.
Skip was a guest on one of our very first episodes, and
Skip was our very first guest of all time.
That's right, on VCR.
Our number one very first guest about a year and a half ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was funny about that is I didn't know I was actually going to do it. I thought I was going to talk about it. And then I showed up and you're like, all right, well, you're going to sit right here.
That's how we roll.
Look in that camera. And then I was like, what?
That's how we do it. We don't prepare. we don't communicate and we don't prepare. So
we also just told you today we're doing a quick check-in on Zoom, but here we are. So ambushed yet again.
Yes.
And of course, Skip runs AV Geeks and has one of the world's largest collections of educational hygiene films and ephemera from on 16 and 8mm and every other film format you can imagine.
What's your collection at now? Like, do you have a number?
27,000.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah, I just got 1,600 in December.
And then you have your home. Well, your home is separate now. You used to live in the house with all of your films.
Right.
Now you live in a separate home.
Right.
But your other home is an old boarding house. Is that right?
It has 13 bedrooms, and each bedroom is filled with either films or equipment.
It's the coolest place I've ever been to. And just the smell and just you had to put extra support in the basement,
So,
otherwise it would all collapse.
Exactly.
It's a ticking time bomb, basically.
That's the way I like to think about it. Ticking time bomb.
Well, we all have a lot of time on our hands, and we thought it would be fun to have you back on and show some of the films that you've lent to open our shows over the years, and also play some new stuff from your collection.
I think we got to kick off with Shake Hands with Danger, though. I think everybody's seen this one at this point, but just in case there are some people who haven't, they got to see it. So we got to kick off with that.
All right.
Do you want to set it up? Like what?
Well, I collect a bunch of training films, and this one is meant for a very specific audience. It's people who work on Caterpillar heavy equipment.
All right. Here it is. Shake Hands with Danger, kicking things off, coming at you live. Here we go.
Cool lead in.
Hey, turn it over.
Oh, wait, I missed the beginning, but he's proving a point to him.
What if it bumped that control by accident? You'd be mincemeat by now. What have I told you? You don't work on equipment when the engine's running.
Well, I told him not to touch anything. All right, I guess I wasn't thinking.
You weren't thinking? You mean you'll work on engines and machinery and not think of your own personal safety?
Skip, that's what your boss is like, right?
Oh, yeah.
Here. Shake hands with Danger.
Shake hands with Danger. Need a guy who ought to know. I used to laugh at safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe.
I gotta go by that name.
Some old-timers think accidents happen only to greenhorns.
Hey, Red. I got a Bracton. You want to come take a look at it?
Let them learn the hard way, they say. Now, let them learn the hard way can be an attitude that results in serious injury.
Ooh. Sorry about that.
Oh, that guy's perfectly
Even
cast,
the
too. Do you think that's an
old-timers
actor, or do you
relapse
think
into
that's an actual employee of the shop?
The safety gap is correct when he starts.
I like
but
the
he doesn't
vengeance.
think about how much he's grinding down the wheel.
I think he's an actor. Like, look at this scene here.
His sideburns are in
Gets by
sag.
with it on that longer piece. Shake hands with Danger. Step right up and say hello. Grinding wheels
good
and metal are what made Three-Finger Joe.
Somebody help Three-Finger Joe!
Oddly enough, it isn't lack of familiarity with a job that causes most accidents. Often it's the routineness of the work that makes a person overconfident. Now, Bill Myers is changing buckets, a job he's done at least 100 times. If he were new at it, Bill would be watching and thinking about every step.
I think this scene is actually
Now it's
well-directed.
so routine that caution has been dulled.
It's a nice build to it.
Yeah, this whole thing is like an action suspense movie.
The hole is dry. The pin won't slide in. There's no stick or swab in the grease can, but he could surely find one if he took the time to search around.
I love this hand
This
acting
is the
coming up
moment.
here. Look at this hand
That
acting.
split second when a man decides between being safe or shaking hands with
That's some
danger.
great hand acting.
Acting.
And a Hornet Wrangler for this one.
Solid.
Oh.
And there it is. Shake hands with danger.
So cool.
It's so good. Every time I watch it, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
And the song too. You've told us before, but you learned who wrote it, right?
Yeah, so I posted this online, and a person reached out who actually wrote the song. His name is Jim Stringer, and he worked for Centron Films, and he was, I guess now is in a Western swing band in Austin, Texas. And so we did a kind of a retrospect of films that he was in, and also films that he wrote music for at the Alamo Draft House there, the original Alamo. And we had a sing-along with Shake Hands with Danger, including extra lyrics.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so supposedly this film was so popular and the song was so popular that Caterpillar actually released a cassette that you could get if you were a customer there, and it had the entire song on it.
No way.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I want the extended cut. I mean,
Yes.
He must have been pretty young when he wrote that, though. I always picture
yeah.
like a grizzled old man is singing that song.
Well, so he wrote this music, but another guy is singing the song, and there's always been this debate about who sang it. There was always like, well, it was Tom T. Hall, or it was like this country western performer, or this one, and it was actually this guy named Charles Oldfather, who was a professor at University of Kansas, and which is in the same town that Centron was based. And this guy used to appear in some of the Centron films, and was also a big dramatics. He loved drama. And so anyways, they got him to sing this song. And the only other time I've ever seen him is in The Day After, that movie, The Day After.
Yeah.
Is he plays a farmer that's all coated in like burns and ash. He has a cameo.
Wow. Oh, it's awesome. All right, moving on. So a few years ago, you sent us 3 videos, 3 clown videos.
Yes.
And I think today we just have time for one. Here are the options. Dentist clown. I don't know what the actual title is, but it's a clown dentistry video. The other one is
Think of a Clown.
Okay. The other one is a little girl who's dressed as a clown. She's really whiny and she's looking in a mirror.
Right.
Does that ring a bell?
That one is If Mirrors Could Speak.
Okay.
The titles are.
Then the last one, which is my personal favorite, is the clown communion one.
Yes. That one I can't remember. Suddenly the title just left my brain. That one I got recently, and that one I have not shown online anywhere.
Let's show that one. Clown communion.
It's a world exclusive.
Yes. So, but do you know the story behind this? Is this for like Sunday school classes or something?
I don't know. I think this is too scary for Sunday school class.
Well, all the
Christian clowning.
Yes.
The clowns look so dour and sad, and they don't look like they're having fun. But anyway, here it is, Clown Communion, if that's the title even.
Well, it tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Enjoy. No, it's not called Clown Communion, but it's called something that's really, I don't know. Anyways.
Maybe the title will come up.
Your computer's too scared to play it back.
Can you see it, or?
Yeah.
I can see it, but it hasn't started.
Oh, there it is. I can't even imagine where this would play, where this would air.
That's kind of a jaunty ragtime soundtrack. I think it'd be fun and funny. Nope.
No, not at all.
Ah!
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm with 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, congregation. Well, maybe it's like a how-to. Just like you can have fun with clowning, you can do a Christian thing. Bring a bunch of nails in.
Menacing.
Nobody's having fun. Nobody's having fun. To remind you about Jesus hanging on the cross? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Am I getting this
duh.
right? Okay.
Duh.
I picked up on the metaphor there. Okay.
Like, play the cross as a kazoo or something. Do something.
Smile once, maybe. Is that Jesus' blood? I'm going to go ahead and guess.
I think that's the holy water.
It's Jesus' saliva?
You wash before the meal. Ominous shot from below.
Oh yeah.
That bread died for our sins. That loaf.
The bread does look pretty good.
It does, actually.
Oh, it's Jesus' body.
I'm sorry, Jesus' body looks pretty good.
I don't get this. He's pouring the...
That's the blood that's pouring off the cross.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not have it be like the refilling vase trick where it just keeps going, you know, like do a clown trick.
And I never really thought of the cross as like a pouring device.
Well, you're not a clown.
It just all look miserable.
What's the rest of the congregation doing at this point? Wow, no title.
So I showed that film to an audience, and instead of using that really horrible production music background, ragtime, I used the Pederecki, something that was used in The Shining, and it freaked everybody out because it was just this intense choral thing, and people were just like, "Oh my God!" And they thought that was the actual soundtrack. So I felt pretty good about that, and actually had a standing ovation after that.
Wow, yeah, try different soundtracks with that. I think anything works. I was saying that sort of is almost like Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque. It's just got that weird communal eating thing and cannibalism, and it's just,
and it's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit funny, but a little bit off. There's another one that we've opened our shows with. It's become a classic, and it's Sex Education for Trainables. And this was, I guess, the PC way to describe developmentally disabled people at the time, trainables.
Well, there's different like levels that they talk about. So I have a follow-up to this film, which is for educables. So I think there's educables, and there's trainables, and then there's more profound.
Did they change the name every year or something? It was
No. I think it was just, there was different, somebody had come up with a hierarchy of retardation at the time. And this film, why I like this film is it really is trying to be progressive. And I think what's funny about it is not the people that are, have mental retardation. It's everybody else. It's all the teachers, and there's just the awkwardness of talking about sex ed just in general.
Oh yeah.
With anybody, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I love they do sort of seem like Bay Area hippies or something that put this together.
It's definitely progressive. It's definitely ahead of its time.
Yeah.
All right, here's let me look for it here.
And this was made, I think, in either New Jersey or Philadelphia area, kind of in that part of it.
Oh, okay.
All right, here it is.
Guy's a good creep.
Oh yeah, classic creep.
those who teach must do some special examination of how they themselves feel about sex.
Penis. Say penis.
Penis.
Louder.
Penis.
Give me another word for penis. Prick.
Peter.
Peter.
Cock.
Cock.
Rod.
Rod.
Dick.
Dick.
I can't believe it took Dick that long.
Prick. We've got it.
In the comments below, add
What?
your own.
Ding dong.
Let me back up there.
Prick. We've got it. Rod.
Dick.
Dick.
Prick.
Prick. We've got it.
Me.
What?
Ding
Me?
dong.
Ding dong.
Ding dong.
Juan.
Nice.
Juan.
I think that's what your family called it, right? Juan?
Right.
Wiener.
Wiener.
Talking about and using sexual terminology is difficult for many people because of the guilt and embarrassment
for me.
from our heritage.
Okay, let's all say it, okay? Prick.
Prick.
Peter. Cock. Rod. Dick. Meat. Ding dong. Juan. Wiener.
Liner.
Tool. Joint.
Tennis balls.
Do you know anything about this kid?
No.
Let's try
Make love, not war.
Oh, excuse me, Ricky. Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it?
Oh.
It's all right. We all have feelings like this sometimes. I'm sorry I intruded on your privacy. I'll be sure to knock next
Ow.
time. Okay?
I want that shirt.
No.
This manner of response frees the child of guilt and assures him he is normal.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Shake hands with danger.
A brilliant edit, Skip. A brilliant edit.
Slow
Shake
push in.
hands with danger. Shake hands with danger.
There it is. Classics. Just the hits. We're bringing up the hits.
Yeah, man.
I want Ricky's mom's shirt is incredible. I would love to find that at a thrift store one day.
You don't wear them so much anymore. You used to wear the 70s shirts all the time, and that was a total Nick Pruer shirt that she was wearing in that.
Yeah,
scene.
I have one like that in my closet, but that one is it's a work of art.
So Skip, you gave us that video years ago, and we would always kick off our shows, our found footage shows, with that video, and it was the best, having like a room full of 200 people saying cock, prick, wand, wiener, all chanting along with all the. it was just like a chorus of angels, just
excellent,
saying different words for penis.
We should mention too that Skip, you do well before this. You did shows, and I assume we'll continue to do your AV Geeks shows, which are all themed after. Usually, you'll find some theme like The Trouble with Girls, or things like that. Put together thematic shows that are very entertaining, and I assume that one has made the rounds and your shows as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was something that I was showing a lot, and this is when I had that film and I was showing it to friends. I realized, hey, I got something here. This is really great. I can show this to other audiences, and that's how kind of I got started. Was ABC's of Sex Ed was one of the first ones that was like, wow, this is so good.
Do people chant at your shows as well?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
You're just compelled to.
We never tell people to. It's just an organic thing that happens.
Yeah.
You showed us another one. We went over to your house, and you when you lived at the boarding house. It was the best. Just going in that living room, and then you just have like the setup, and you showed us the follow up to Trainables, which I think you said was Educables.
Educables, right?
But the host of that, his name is Richard Dick.
Dix. Yeah.
Richard Dick, which is Dick, essentially.
Dick. And he, they unfortunately do these close-ups on him. He's definitely a radio person because he had some acne. And so they do these awkward close-ups where it's like this whenever he's talking. And it's like, wow, stop.
It's funny. Some of these are very well directed. Others are not very well directed.
Right.
I think like Shake Hands with Danger, I think that's masterful. I think that must have been a professional director.
I mean, I think that some people say that Herc Harvey directed it. And Herc Harvey did a lot of Centron films and actually made one feature film, Carnival of Souls.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So, And he
But
shows up in the film as a mad foreman.
But training videos, they wouldn't have credits at the end, right? So you'd never really know who directed them, right?
Sometimes they do, but it's mostly they don't.
Okay.
There's a lot of detective work that goes into it. Yeah, usually most of the VHS stuff we find at least has some rudimentary credits at the end. You can do some digging that way, but you get your work cut out for you.
Yeah.
So this next one you just sent us today, and it's part of an Encyclopedia Britannica series of short films, I guess. You labeled it Magic Moments.
Right, and it was part of a series, and this is where educational film makers started taking drugs.
That's what I was going to say.
They're traditionally very, seem very conservative and very square. And then like in the late 60s, early 70s, things started going wacky.
Yeah, this was 1969, and you can tell. So it's called...
Are you serious about this? Like they actually did start taking drugs, or?
Well, I talked to some filmmakers of that time, and they basically said yes.
Okay.
Well, if not, they were influenced by psychedelia. You can tell in this one. It's and the Toes can tell too. This one is called Toes Tell. Some finger-painted backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, already.
I'm not sure what the educational purpose of this was either, having watched it.
All of the films in that series beg that question.
It's like they had some short ends and just decided to make a little psychedelic film and have Encyclopedia Britannica release it.
What? Like a Stephen Gummo or something.
You just hope she's had a tetanus shot.
I don't like that sound effect.
This is directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah, he's a foot guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like. I'm not a foot guy.
Some people are. Weird.
What's the opposite of a foot guy?
Most people?
Looks like it's frozen. Is that how it is?
Shouldn't be. You see it?
Now it's moving. I think this is an art video, isn't it?
Well, it says educational film. It's by Encyclopedia Britannica.
I like that Joe's trying to reconcile what he's doing here.
Nick, you turn down a little bit.
Yep.
Filthy. I could see this being on like Sesame Street, how they'd have those segments every so often. You know?
Yeah, it's just a little too creepy, I think.
Yeah.
What are the other ones in this series, Skip?
Well, so some of them, there's things like called Join Hand, Let's Go, Clap, but this is actually, there's 3 films that are foot fetishist films. One's called Magic Feet, and the other's called Who's Shoes, and it's a lot of footage of feet.
It was like a innocuous way for people to get in their foot fetish videos, I guess, at the time.
Yes. We have this term, it's called the cameraman's gaze, where a cameraman isn't aware what they're filming and that their fetish is coming out pretty strongly in what they're filming. We see a lot with home movies where you see the camera kind of like look at women's breasts or at their butts, but as they walk past.
Right.
So I think this is definitely, someone was very excited to shoot this footage of feet.
Yeah.
This is especially unsettling in our like germ panicked world that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
Just
Dirty
like thumb
feet.
with the
Putting her toe on a cactus.
I read that Dan Schneider, the guy from Head of the Class who did all the Nickelodeon kids shows like iCarly, is a foot fetish guy, because people went through it, and I think like you're saying, they watched a lot of like iCarly, and then there's a lot of feet scenes in those Nickelodeon shows. Yeah.
See that.
Look at that hippie, that dirty hippie.
Yeah.
That was a classic dirty hippie. It's central casting. I don't mind the soundtrack. It's pretty cool.
Jackson Pollock is ruined.
Like, look at this. This can't be. Who wants to see this?
I mean, there's a part of me that wishes I did have a foot fetish. You know, like it'd be one more thing I could get into. But
Yeah.
Not in the cards for me in this life.
Yeah, you'd think you'd know by now.
Yeah. I mean, I could try, but.
If this video doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Yeah, exactly.
Toes tell.
Yeah.
It's actually a relief right there. Washing the feet at the end.
But then it had that kind of ominous sting at the end too. It just, and yeah, Encyclopedia Britannica funded that video for some reason.
Yeah. Yep.
So strange.
It was a different time. And that was probably expensive too. They had to shoot on film. They had to probably hire a crew.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, different time.
And so, what was the point behind that? Like, what am I learning from this? Well, you show this to a bunch of little kids and they get super excited about it. And then you have them discuss, or you have them write stories, or you have them draw pictures. Like, what would your feet do? Or what would your toes like to touch? And it's to encourage discussion and critical thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Can't tolerate it. They have a lot of problems with watching.
Yeah. That seems like a very 1969 philosophy. There's no curriculum. It's just like, watch this thing and whatever you feel like, man. What else you got, Joe?
All right. So, Skip, a few years back when we were putting together a new show, I asked you to put together some openers for us. And you sent one that was labeled Penis Mega Mix.
I think this is after I did that tour with you and Found Magazine,
yes.
Davey Rothbart. And
that's right.
You guys had so many penis videos that you were showing.
Guilty as charged.
And I was like, all right, I know what they like, so I'll just
They love Penis Mega Mixes. You just do it all too well. So I think there's two on here. Do you remember what they are?
I have no idea, man. That was so long ago. I know that one of them is definitely Am I Normal?
Oh,
yes. Yeah. I think we had that on VHS, too. Am I Normal?
I think we showed it the last time that you were on the show.
Right.
Too. And here's this. Here's This is Am I Normal?
Parent to Child About Sex.
This one is?
Yeah.
Okay. The dialogue is great between these two kids.
Yeah.
We just call it the Penis Mega.
The adolescent boy has other problems, too. I'm talking about his problems in growth and development, which can be as disturbing to him as his sex pressures.
Boy, how do I always get the top locker?
You know, that junior team you're on looked pretty good today. You guys better watch out. You might make the finals.
Yeah, but we'd be a lot better if I were bigger. I'm sure getting tired waiting to grow up. It's no fun being such a scrawny kid. It may sound funny to you, but boy, when I change my pants, I'd like to crawl in that locker. I feel so undeveloped.
That's not so funny. Before we moved here, I used to go to a school where we had to go swimming in the Bear. I was so embarrassed about the size of my penis that we used to dread the days we had to go swimming. Even though it was my best sport, and I was good at it too, like you.
All right, there it is. They're very self-aware of their own maturity and like their underdevelopment. They're very self-aware. I don't remember being like that when I was that age.
So you used to go to a school where you swam in the Bear?
My dad actually did. And,
yeah, I talked to my dad about that too, and he said that that was something that they did.
Yeah, he said too that they had to run from the changing rooms, and then there was like a little hallway before they get into the pool area. So they had to just quick run in there because the girls were right there and could see them cross into the pool. So
That's madness.
They separated them by genders, but still, yeah, they're just naked swimming around there in the pool.
I remember in 4th grade, we had to take showers after the 10-minute run. We had a 10-minute run, and we knew the day before that we had to take showers. And I remember being so, like, I couldn't sleep the night before because I was like, I don't want to go into this room with all my classmates and be naked around them at this age, you know? And I remember my dad coming in and having a talk with me, just being like, just go in there, wet your hair, get out, and just talk me off the ledge. That night. I can't imagine swimming, though. Nightmare. Man. All right. This next one is
this is Am I Normal?
Yep. All right. And this is at a zoo. Is this how it starts off? Because this is all.
No, this is the climax.
Okay. Nice.
so to speak.
Of the Penis Mega Mix. All right.
What can I do for you there, son?
Well, see, I have this question. It's kind of a biological kind of thing.
Shoot.
I'm a zoo custodian. Ask me anything.
Well, son, I admire your candor. You've come to the right man for the answer. Let's face it, in this job, I see a lot of penises. Animals' penises, that is.
Should have
I
said
can
that
tell
first.
you one thing about these animals that you couldn't say about humans. They never worry about the size of the darn thing. One's as good as another, just like noses.
But then why do people make jokes about it?
Well, you know, people are funny. Sometimes they try to make other folks feel small so they can feel big inside. Heck, fact is, being big or having big feet or big anything just has nothing to do with what kind of man.
And that's where it stops.
So there's the fact that his glasses are about to fall off his face. Kind of anxiety. Not to mention the stranger danger aspect of this film.
There's a lot of things wrong with this. Yeah. but he
put your glasses up, dude.
Yeah, they're
He's
about
like
to fall off.
He's like the growth and development Mr. Rogers, because I don't think Mr. Rogers ever really talked about that stuff, did he?
I don't
Never talked about penises and stuff.
He talks
No.
about going to the bathroom, but I don't think he actually talks about genitalia.
What did he talk about with going to the bathroom?
Oh man, it's so good.
Is it?
It's so good. There's a book that he put out, and there's a video episode. He sings a song about how you can't go down the drain, and then also how kids get upset to flush the toilet because they made this thing and then it's going away and leaving their body. So you have to explain to children that that's basically dirt, and then it's okay to wave goodbye. And they suggest actually waving goodbye to it.
Well, Joe, you still do that, right?
Every time. I just did 25 minutes ago. I did.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about bidets, though, Joe. No
Wait,
bidets.
what?
He does not talk about bidets, though.
Oh, he doesn't? Oh, okay. Well, he's missing out. Well, he missed out. What do we? Oh, we're Revis.
Yes.
Yes.
Speaking of using the bathroom, this film I got from University of South Carolina, and it was just written. There was no information on it except it had a little piece of tape on the reel that said "Ro Revis," and it was handwritten. And I was like, "What is that? Is that a technical science term? What is that?" And I had no idea what I was going to see. I mean, this was nuts. I watched it with some friends, and we were just going "Oh my gosh!"
And you've seen a lot, so
yes,
that's
I mean,
something.
you want to talk about a jaded bunch of people. My friends, when we watch these things, and this, we were just like, I cannot understand what is going on here. I don't want to say too much more about it.
Yeah. All right, but it is a perfect video to play in our current situation here. Here we go. Rorivas.
Who lives with you? Rorivas talks about worms.
Hi, Nutty. Boy, that apple sure looks good.
Oh, hi, Rorivas. Yeah, it sure is good. Well,
That's the same voice I use for my cats.
But you just dropped the apple in the dirt.
oh, it's still okay.
Nay, nay. The dirt might have worm eggs in it.
Worm?
Yeah, you know those little crawly, ooly-gooly animals.
But I don't see any worms.
There are all kinds of worms, and sometimes when they are babies, you can't see them. Some worms can grow up and eat corn or leaves. You can use others to catch fish with. And there are other worms that can live inside your pets, and still other worms that live inside of people.
My gosh, really?
Sure.
The squirrel's always
And when
incredulous.
worms live inside your pets, your dogs, and cats, they make them sick.
What kind of sick?
They won't eat or play. They just mope around. And worms can also get inside of boys and girls, too, and make them feel sick.
Why do they get sick?
Because those worms living inside of boys and girls
It's nothing but
eat part of the
questions with
food
you.
they eat.
You mean those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches they eat would feed the worms inside of children?
That's
Did I
right.
stutter?
This is one of those worms.
Ah.
Its real name is Ascaris.
That's a
No
12-incher.
boy or girl wants to have this worm live with them.
I had worms when I was a
How can
kid.
you get rid of those
Really?
worms
Yep.
and never
12-inch
ever
worms?
get them again?
Huh?
12-inch worms?
Yeah,
Never
I don't know
use the
what an
outdoors
inch or
for a
what,
bathroom.
how many inches, but
The
If only you'd
bushes
seen
in your yard
Rorivas.
or the dirt
I
on
know.
your doorstep is
You wouldn't have
not a
eaten dirt.
bathroom.
But what does going to the bathroom have to do with worms?
Well, when those worms are living inside of you, they lay eggs. Little tiny eggs. So small you
And
can't
close up
see
on
them.
Rorivas,
You could
and
even put 50 eggs on the head of this pen.
Really?
And when you go to the bathroom, these eggs leave the body and can get into the dirt if you use the outdoors for a bathroom. See this toy truck? Now see the dirt on the wheels? If we use a very powerful camera, we can see those eggs I mentioned that you can't see with your eyes because they are too small.
Oh, look! You can see the little baby worms inside of the egg.
You sure can.
that's what I
So
just
remember
said.
that these eggs are in the dirt.
The real
because
one-sided
somebody used
friendship
the
we
outdoors
have.
for a bathroom. Now, if you were to put that dirt in your mouth, you would get those eggs inside of you. The eggs would hatch, and the worms would grow up inside of
Were
you.
you sucking on the tires
they
of
get?
toy trucks? Is
They
that how
would
you
grow
got
to
them,
be
Joe?
very big.
Always.
Yep.
Some of those
Yep.
worms would reach 12 inches or more.
That's bigger than I am.
And those worms aren't one bit nice either. Look, see these baby worms hatching? See them coming out of their shell? They want to grow. And just as you need to breathe, so do these worms. So they fight and squirm until they punch their way into your lungs.
Oh, how awful.
it's very
And then they
Rocky from
grow
Rocky and
and
Bullwinkle.
grow, reaching 1 foot in length, and sometimes even bigger. In about 3 months, they lay eggs of their own, thousands of them. Look at this worm laying eggs, and these eggs will leave your body with BM or number 2 when you go to the bathroom. And if you don't use your toilet or privy, if you use the outer doors for a bathroom, then all of those eggs will get into the dirt, and then they can get back into you or anyone else who puts that dirt into his mouth.
When you're filling up a frisbee with
I
mud.
guess I should be more careful with what I put into my mouth.
You sure should. You should always
sure
wash
as
your
shit
hands before
should.
you touch anything that you put into your mouth. Remember, anytime you put dirty fingers or anything that's dirty into your mouth,
Rorivas is also
you
an
may
old
also
blues
be putting
singer.
in these tiny worms. And these eggs can live in the dirt for a long, long time. All summer, all winter long, even for several years.
So even an egg 2 or 3 years old might still grow inside of me?
It sure would.
His voice
It
gets
would
me
use
every
part
time.
of your food that you eat and need to grow strong and big. Boys and girls need the food for themselves. They can't afford to share it with any worms living inside of them.
I like food, fruits, vegetables, meat, and milk. Food tastes good. It helps me to grow strong bones, and I feel full of energy. But I don't want worms. I want to keep all of the food I eat. I want to feel healthy, not tired or sick.
That's fine. But if you want to stay healthy, you must remember your good health habits.
The squirrel said
Always
food tastes
use
good.
your toilet or privy. Never use the yard or a bush for a bathroom. And always wash your hands after you use the toilet and before you eat anything. Don't put hands, fingers, sticks, or anything with dirt on them into your mouth. Dirt might have worm eggs in it.
Worm eggs?
Sure.
Anything
Keep
else?
yourself clean. Eat the right foods and do what your teacher and nurse tell you to do. Listen to your teacher and the school nurse. They will help you and your parents to stay healthy and keep from getting worms.
If you have a
inside
question
of you.
about penis size,
And what
talk
about
to your
that
zoo custodian.
I'm going to wash it right now. I don't want any eggs hatching inside of me. No, sir, I'm going to wash it.
There goes a pretty smart squirrel.
I disagree. Office of Economic Opportunity put that out.
That was Donald Rumsfeld's department under Nixon.
Was it really?
Yeah. So I showed
around
it-
that year, probably too, right?
71.
Wow.
Yeah. So I showed this at a film conference in South Carolina, and somebody afterwards said, I used to watch Ro Rivas after school, like when he was in high school. He and his friends would get high and watch Ro Rivas on this kids show. And later, we found the voice of Ro Rivas.
The actual
He's
guy?
Yeah, his name is Joe Bowie, and he is a cameraman now. He does a lot of sporting events. He was 17 when that film was made.
What?
Yeah, so he was still in high school and would, like, after school, would go to the TV studio and he would do Ro Rivas, and he would also do Nutty, the squirrel. And so I had commented, I was like, wow, it looks like you're not that good. I mean, I said it in a very polite way, because Ro Rivas is like, he's like this.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we were shooting it live and I was doing both at the same time and trying to read a script.
And he's 17.
And he was 17.
Wow.
I assume that Rivas's voice that was affected. Like he did.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Doesn't actually sound like that. Okay.
He based it on. There's that song "Frog." I'm a Lonely Boy. It has a frog in it. It's by Clarence Frogman something. I can't remember the name, but anyways, that's who he based the voice on.
Okay. There was also
So
Froggy the Little Rascal from our
Yes.
gang who sounded
Yes.
a little like that too.
Definitely.
I
And supposedly Ro Rivas was like a celebrity, like
Like
because
a
it was
real
shown. Well, he was shown all over South Carolina, and he said that they would do county fairs, and supposedly there was also this other guy who was this kind of science weatherman guy, and he hated Ro Rivas because Ro Rivas was getting more attention than his little shtick.
Yeah, well, it's easy to see why.
How many years was Ro Rivas on? So he was 17 when that came out, and then
it was probably 2 or 3 years. It was basically, he was a character on this show, which was kind of like a romper room, Mr. Rogers type of thing that was
regional.
Yeah. So they would go visit things, and then Ro Rivas was the bad character, was like the naughty character, and so of course everybody loved him because he was always doing naughty things.
He's the bad boy.
He's the bad boy. Yes.
He's a bad tree frog.
Yes.
I think Nutty should get his own spin-off show.
Yes,
I think I personally think Nutty's the star of the show. Nutty's my favorite.
Just asking inane questions.
Wait a second. Back up.
Anything else to say? All right, I'll do the heavy lifting, Nutty.
I'm completely lost. Start over.
Whoa. The other side to this is that this was a problem in South Carolina. where there was a lot of kids that lived in rural areas that were infested with these Ascaris parasites, and it was basically causing malnutrition. And so they got a federal grant to make this film, and there's a couple of other films about food. And so a lot of that footage of in the house where they're cutting up food and cooking food is in these other films, and it's about good nutrition and about like trying to keep parasites from entering your body.
Wow. I like that they got a federal grant, and then they're like, let's hire a 17-year-old who will do all of our voices.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing I learned is that food tastes good. So
food tastes good.
That's going to stay with me.
All right, next up, we got, I don't know what the title of this one is. I just call it How Many Holes?
Oh, yeah. So this was from a film called Sally. And I think it was like a unfinished project because it kind of follows this girl, Sally, who's kind of beginning puberty, but it's not a traditional puberty film. It just kind of deals with the emotional aspects of it. But there's some really good scenes in this.
Yeah, this scene is they make a prank phone call to, I think, a teacher maybe, or to somebody. And this is all you sent me, but it's just golden. It's absolutely golden. So here's Sally.
What am I saying? Remember what she was talking about in health class about the 3 openings in a girl's body? Ask her, Miss Reardon, how many openings are there in a girl's body? Tell her you're taking a survey. Oh, come on.
Hello? Yes, I'm doing a survey. I'd like to know how many holes there are in a woman's body.
3.
There's 3? Okay, thank you very much.
Beth, were you ever afraid that you only had 2 holes?
Yeah, I still am.
I used to be afraid too, but then I looked and I have 3. I used a mirror.
What do you mean you used a mirror?
I looked at myself with a mirror.
What do you mean you looked at yourself with a mirror?
You don't have to get so sick about it.
Who is she, Nutty the squirrel? What do you mean you looked at yourself with a mirror? I still don't understand.
It's just a weird survey to be like, they don't normally call with like factual information for surveys, right? Like how many holes, yeah. But then I guess the person answered.
It's a prank phone call. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to picture Miss Reardon on the other end. 3, thank you. Is that all you need? Okay.
3, you gotta count the urethra.
Good night.
Yeah, so in the course of this film, Sally she was the one on the right with the mirror. She basically
what do you mean mirror?
You've never done that, Nick? Nick, do it tonight. Use a mirror.
Feel bad about not developing like the other girls in her class. So she goes to her mom's closet and finds a garter belt, the white garter belt, and she wears it like a bra to school.
Racy, whoa.
And she's wearing it under her shirt, of course.
Yes.
But at some point, some girl was like, "What? You're wearing a bra?" And looks and like, "Wait a minute, that's not a bra at all." And so it's funny but sad. And
when you say it's not finished, is it like, do you have the raw footage from it?
Or? No, it just doesn't seem to be finished. It seems like they pulled out bits of different scenes of this girl's slice of life. I don't know if it was looking. It
doesn't feel. That scene didn't feel very well thought out.
Right.
And
so it just seems the edits are kind of rushed. The titles are weird. It's an odd film. And I've run across that a couple of times with educational films where it's like, this feels like this was a bigger project and they just couldn't do it. So they scaled it way back and
it still showed it to people.
Yes, exactly. Well, we got this footage. What are we gonna? Yeah.
All right, we got 2 more left. This next one's a medley that you gave us a few years back too, and it has a bunch of different stuff. We can stop it as we go along. You can talk about it, and then we'll watch it. But I think
I
there's
can't
4
remember
different.
What this is, so here we go.
It kicks off with a payphone video. Do you remember the payphone?
Oh, okay. So this is Telezonia, which is an amazing film on how to use the telephone in the 70s.
All right, here we go. See, now they had a budget. Look at this.
Yes.
Need some help, young fella? Here's a couple of coins so you can make your calls. This is a public telephone that you have to pay to use. Like paying admission to the movies. It's not like a vending machine. You don't get any change back. You must have the right coins. Lift the handset, drop the coins right into the slot. Listen for the tone before you start. Put your finger in the circle of the number you need. Turn the dial to the right with a little bit of speed. Turn the dial to the right till your finger goes no more. Take your finger out, the dial will go to where it was before. And when you're finished all the numbers, you'll hear it ring. That's how you do the telephone thing.
Yeah, so that last film was, the whole film is about how to use the telephone and to explain to kids how a dial phone works and how you dial a number. Unfortunately, those women are supposed to be parentheses, like that, a parentheses in a phone number, but they basically are labia.
Yeah, because
They're pink. No, they're pink parentheses. You see what you want to see, Skip.
I saw parentheses on what? Where in the phone are there parentheses?
No, they're not. But you know how you have a phone number that has the area code in parentheses?
Oh, gotcha. Oh, wow, that's a stretch. All right, here we go. What's this one? This is like
It's called Crash Bang Boom, and it's about percussion instruments, but there's no narration. And this is the hip part of that film.
Okay, and this is probably shown to school children,
Yes.
something, kindergartners or something.
Yes.
All right.
I love this one.
This is a drummer in a rock and roll band. He plays a bass drum, snare drum, tom-tom, and a cymbal.
It's like an Elephant Six band. Eric Wareheim character.
Oh, yeah.
Great job.
And
the regular.
Mike Nesmith?
Kind of like the Mike Nesmith recording.
I love that. The dance.
It just kind of fizzles out there. I think this one is a song with people in wheelchairs.
Yes.
Doing a song.
So this film is called A Different Approach, and this was made to encourage people to hire physically handicapped. And it's kind of irreverent and intentionally funny, and it features so many celebrities. It's really kind of crazy.
Really? All right, Here we go.
why not do yourself a favor? Why not be a little braver? Why not give someone a helping hand? You'll thank your lucky stars. It's time that somebody spoke up. It's time everybody woke up. It's high time.
Oh, Michael Keaton.
That you employers understand that there's a world of really talented lawyers, accountants, and doctors, and so does yours. Not to mention the truck drivers, bankers, night watchmen, and teachers, and filing clerks. A popular misconception's always had us labeled as clumsy, inadequate, second-rate workers, 'cause we're disabled. No more bias or confusion. We've come to this one conclusion.
Like an Esther Williams movie.
There isn't a single person here who wants a handout, no sir. All we want's an equal chance to be your grocer.
Good line.
Do yourself a favor. Hire the handicapped. Do yourself a favor, hire the handicapped. There isn't a single person here who wants a handout.
I love his intensity.
All he wants an equal chance to be your grocer. Do yourself a favor.
That's a great video. That's like very well directed, choreographed. The song is catchy. The lyrics are great. Nailed it.
It's a real good film. And then, Michael Keaton, as you saw, is in it. And then Norman Lear. There's like a whole slew of celebrities in it.
That was Michael Keaton before anybody knew who he was, before he was famous?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. He wasn't Mr. Mom at that point.
No.
Cool. And then now we have I love this one. This is the one with the Legos and the...
Yeah, this is called Drugs Are Like That. And it was like a bunch of PSAs about drugs, narrated by Anita Bryant. Like, I don't know if anybody knows who Anita Bryant is now, but she used to be the Florida Sunshine orange juice lady, who was also homophobic and got in trouble for that. But this is an explanation of what drugs are like to young kids.
When did drug films start popping up?
Oh, you had some that were pretty early, like in the 50s, but they really hit a stride in the late 60s and early 70s. And then it became like, oh, well, we really need to start talking to kids about this because it's showing up in middle schools.
Yeah.
The problem is they always make drugs look pretty fun.
Well, this is an example of that.
Okay. All right, here we go. Great original music.
Batman game? I want that Batman game.
Once you start some things, you just can't stop. And drugs are like that too. You pick it up and it's hard to drop. And drugs are like that too. Like
I'm seeing drugs everywhere, man.
And like a player playing in a daze, yeah, you break a rule and you have to pay. It may not hurt, but then again it may. Drugs are like that too, you know. Drugs are like that too, I know, no.
Oh, that got me hungry for drugs. All right, here's the last one.
Okay, and this one was a public service announcement that was nationally released. That previous one was only in Florida, and somebody said, I used to see those on television. This one is nationally released and is really an advertisement about how great venereal disease is.
All right.
VD is for everybody, not just for the few.
VD is for everybody.
Anyone can share VD with someone nice as you.
I got gonorrhea.
Is for everybody, darling, have no doubt that anyone can get VD. That's what it's all about.
If you're curious or confused, get information or a pamphlet at most pharmacies or a health clinic. If you need help, see a doctor.
There it is.
So that
VD's for everybody.
All the drug commercials that have, those montages of people that are happily living lives that are better than yours as they read the side effects, like would cause diarrhea from the mouth and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But all those people are so happy and so pretty and having such a great time. It's like, I want VD.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
And it's like interesting people too. Interesting people are, a jockey.
Yeah.
Got it.
I'm going to go out and get VD right now.
You know what? They're right.
Well, Skip, we had one person write us. She's one of our regular viewers, and they're holed up looking for stuff to watch. And she said, not only that, but this week she's having a baby. And she's like, I remember at your show seeing a video where a woman gives birth in the back of a cop car. Is there any way you could play that at one of your shows? And we said, aha, we're having just the guy on to show us that video. So tell us, set this up a little bit.
This was made, this is a training film for police officers and for people, first responders. Came out in the mid 60s, and it was like, how do you deliver a baby? And it shows specifically a woman And then what's crazy about this is the acting is so bad in this. The lighting is bad. Everything is just not good. And so when you actually have a shot inside a car where this woman was trying to go to the hospital, but they had a flat tire, once you see her in the car and giving birth, you're like totally shocked. You're like, oh my gosh, how did this happen?
This is one of the most mind-blowing videos I've ever seen, period. Like, my jaw still hits the floor when that part happens. Do you think we can show that? Do we have to blur this out?
I don't think so.
Natural,
it's a human thing. Yeah.
Miracle of life.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can.
Plus,
yeah.
they shaved her pubic hair.
Yeah.
It's true. All right. So we're fine. We're all clear, right?
Yeah, we
all
can
right,
show it
cool.
in Japan, I think, too.
Yeah. All right. So here's sudden birth. Going out to Megan. It's also her birthday today. So happy birthday.
That's
Megan.
right.
And she's giving birth to a baby boy this week, which I think is what was birthed in this film, too.
Yes.
So here is...
This special request goes out to Megan, who's giving birth this week. Megan, keep reaching for the stars.
Good to be Casey Kasem.
Oh!
Hey, lady. This is a police sir.
Break the plane so many times.
Tell me what the trouble is.
I'm going to have a baby. I'm going to have a baby right now. Please help me. Hey.
Now, don't worry, lady. Everything is going to be all right now.
Why don't you do something? Can't you help her? Can't you give her something?
I've called for an ambulance. Now it's up to nature and our little mother here.
Oh, what was that?
Will you please calm down? Wipe her forehead.
Yeah, YouTube will be fine with this, I think.
Wipe her forehead.
The baby's head is coming.
Yeah,
You don't try to hurry the birth by pulling on the baby.
It's so echoey there.
Relax, Anne. Relax.
Relax, Anne.
You support the baby and keep it clear of any waste. And hold on to it. They're slippery.
Whew. I always forget to breathe during that part.
You're a beautiful mother.
Thank you.
You too.
I'd like to thank you too, officer. Both of you. I was sure worried.
Me too.
Classic. Classic. Me too. Oh, man. So there was actually a documentary. First of all, why does Megan want to see that?
I don't know.
I feel like you wouldn't want to see
It's
that.
traumatizing for me, and I'm nowhere near to giving birth.
But, so there was a documentary done on that, right? You forwarded me the link to it. Is that public? Like, I had to
He's
put
trying
in
to
a
get it
password for
distributed. We showed it at Sundance last year, and he's trying to get it like out into the world. But anyways,
you produced it. You produced it? You're a producer on it?
Yeah, I'm a producer on it, but this guy did all the work. He's based in Germany. He's a longtime friend of mine, and he made the phone calls. He hunted down every single name in the credits. He couldn't find the mother or this baby, but he did find the people that worked on it, and basically all of them have died. But he found out the story behind it, and actually talked to the son or the daughter of the police officer, who's really a doctor.
Right. Yes.
From another country.
Right. I mean, so you got to cut him a little slack for his bad acting. I mean, English play isn't his first
supposedly
language.
he was also, because I had an email conversation with her, and she said that he was trying to be like Joe Friday on Dragnet.
Just the facts,
man.
man.
Yes, I can see that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So I had heard that there's another one that he was in another one.
Yes, it's about cesarean birth deliveries, because he was an obstetrician, and he was actually a twin obstetrician. There's two of them.
Such a strange story.
What's that Cronenberg movie?
Yeah,
Dead Ringer?
It's not based on. I was like, oh please, oh my gosh, it was what Dead Ringers was based on. Oh man.
Yeah.
A totally different twin gynecologist.
What's the name of the documentary?
It's called Everything You Wanted to Know About Sudden Birth, but Were Afraid to Ask.
Nice. Yes. All right.
And,
So look for
it
that.
was very successful and squeamish, and it had all the impact that you would imagine when we showed it at Sundance. So hopefully that will get.
It's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good, and it answers all the burning questions, because there's so many questions. Like, how did they time that?
Yeah.
How did they time it? There were no such thing as cell phones back then. How did they know that she was going to give birth that week? Could they induce birth back then? Maybe they induced. I don't know.
No,
I don't
they
know if
didn't.
that was. No.
There was the backstory is actually really crazy, and there's so much more to it, so many more levels to it. So I'll actually email him and see if he can make it available, because in some way, because it is an amazing story.
Yeah, we'll blast that up to our people too. So.
And how can people see your stuff? I know every day at lunch on Facebook and YouTube, you're screening some of your 16 millimeter films.
Yeah. Since I'm kind of stuck I'm not really in an archive.
No way. I thought you always had like those weird things around your fingers.
Yeah. But this is a picture of my basement at the archive. So this actually are my films. But I'm kind of stuck at my house like all of us are. And so I have probably 2,500 of my films digitized. And every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I show it on YouTube. If you look up AV Geeks, and not the aviation AV Geeks, but the projector AV Geeks, or if you look on Facebook AV Geeks, you'll see me there.
Yeah, it's a great show. I keep it on in the background all day. I just love having love that.
And you can also download Sudden Birth and some of these other movies, or get them on DVD through our website, foundfootagefest.com or avgeeks.com too. So your stuff is out there. Thank you for keeping us all entertained in this quarantine.
Nice work as always, Skip. Let's do it again.
All right, yeah, definitely. And I'm excited to see what the next tour of your homes are going to look like.
Oh yeah.
I was saying we're gonna have to dig deeper. We're gonna have to go under couches, behind bookcases, and just like get into the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to see a tour of your home, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah. At some point. At some point, I'll do it.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, Skip.
Thanks,
guys.
you.
Thanks
See
so
you
much.
later.
There we go.